Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to do some router work on this no Riff Raff sign. The wood itself is a little bit too thick, it comes in 1.5 inches, far too thick for what we want. But I was given 5-6 pieces of this, measuring 6 foot at a time, for free, so free wood is a good wood for me. Now, as always, we've got our template on. I know it fits, obviously, we've made it to fit. And the idea, the way I transfer it is to just put your carbon paper underneath like so. Literally draw around that with a pen, pencil or whatever. Then you can just remove that and we can use that template over and over again should we want to. And you can see from that it transfers the image on nicely with that carbon paper. And that's plenty for what we want to work on. Now, as always for me, I like to use these CNC bits. Nice new ones today, 20 degrees these ones. They do have a small Dremel size shaft on, a 3.175, so you do require a collet adapter. Just show you one there. 6.35 adapter, and you just place that into the silver end. And the darkened end goes into your router, and that's now a 1/4 inch shaft on there, or 6.35mm. Now these are lovely and sharp, and we'll get a decent enough depth on these, and we'll just go around all the lines. Nothing too detailed on this one, so it's not going to take a lot of doing. There is other bits out there, it's just a case of finding a bit that you like to use, and I like to use these CNC bits. Once we've gone around all the lettering at a nice depth that we like, I normally just have a piece of scrap wood like this with different depths set on it. And we can set it to a deepish one. We've got plenty of depth to play with, to a nice deeper one. And then we'll go around all the lettering, like I say. Once that's done, I would normally pop on these end milling bits. They come in different sizes. They have the same size shaft on as a CNC bit. So you literally would remove your CNC bit, like so. Take that one out and slot that one in. However, because there's plenty of room to go at, I'm literally going to pop in a straight flush bit like so, and use this to remove the outer areas. But we'll talk about those a bit nearer. Let's pop our little CNC bit into the router and we'll start routing this one out. Okay, I've done a bit of this already. I've done the no riff bit, as you can see from that. So I've gone around with the CNC bit, no problem. It's quite deep. I'm going to guess at a good 6mm, about the thickness of 2 Dremel bits, which is roughly 6mm, if not slightly over. Now I'll just show you the last bit on here, the raft bit. Just a little tip, obviously with us routing out right on the edge, if you can imagine with the router bit there, we're right towards the edge of the wood. You're going to pivot point, could be a bit awkward here for the balancing. So the best way that you can do it is literally get the piece of the same wood. This was cut off the same piece. You can see how smooth that is in comparison to that one that's not been touched. And you can basically get it along the side like that. Get a nice level of it. Use a clamp if you want to. Some kind of clamping. Literally clamp that down, and that gives you a nice level to work on. I just literally just have it against it like that. And when you come to route out the edges, you can also run on this piece of wood at the same time, and it just stops that beveling about. Right, you can see from that we've gone around all our lettering with the CNC bit. So we've done that. That's the hardest bit done for me, to be honest. Now basically all we're going to do is remove the backer by the depth that we've already set here. So we've took a nice chunk out of there. That allows us to put our metric straight flush bit in to that same area, and we can set it to that depth, and basically just going to remove all the background. Now small areas we can put on a smaller flush bit, straight flush bit, just like pieces in there that would fit in. Obviously there's sections down here, if I can just find one to fit inside there. It's no good putting these big ones in because obviously they won't fit in. Okay, we'll get this inside the router now, set it to that depth I've just shown you, and basically start removing all the background. Right, you can see from that we've gone all the way around our lettering. Everything's still intact. So there's nothing too delicate on this one. So we got away with using our metric straight flush bits. These have a 1/4 inch shaft on them, so they just fit straight into your router, no problem. They are a little bit aggressive, so I certainly won't use them on delicate work. For delicate stuff, I still prefer my end milling bits. I use them on all my projects. Just on the odd occasion, I will use these straight metric bits. Anyways, we've done all that now. So all I need to do is generally just go around, give it a nice tidy up. I think I did mention before, this is about 6mm deep. We roughly just get 2 Dremel bits like so, and we can just slot them on there. You can more or less see, well, you won't be able to see, basically the same height. So 6mm, quite deep for me is that normally. I won't normally go as deep as that. But anyway, okay, general tidy up time. I literally like to go around with the Dremel, one of these engraving bits. These are just engravers, they come really cheap. You get a packet of 30 for next to nothing. I like to get one with a flat bottom on like so. And literally just go all the way around. This is attached to the end of a flexi cable. And basically just tidy it up, then we'll skim over a bit of sandpaper, and then we'll have a look at it again, and then we'll get to the stage of putting on our linseed oil. Okay, let's general tidy up now. Okay, we've cleaned up the best we can. I've had a slight little change of plan, should I say. To me, this back piece wood was just looking a bit too bare. So I decided to start doing some speckling effect. You might just be able to see that in the light. I do apologise for the light. It's starting to come in a little bit too dark now. So you can see that speckling effect, and that's simply just done, yes, with a Dremel and a flexi cable, and it's just a simple case of dab, 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 dab. Now, my wrist is aching already, and I've only done that section there. But we've started now, so we'll finish it off, and hopefully the effect will be worth the effort. Okay, let's continue with this. Right, that's enough speckling effect, as I'm going to call it, with the Dremel. One of those things you probably wish you never started at the time, but hopefully the effect we've got at the end, you just about see it. Just to separate the back end there. Now, funny on this wood, there's two sections. There's a piece down here, and there's also a piece there. And I've actually got sap coming out. So that's quite sticky, is that? I must admit, I've not been doing these wood projects for too many years, but that's the first time for me. So there is some kind of sap in there. Very sticky, is that? But lucky enough, it's just on those two sections, and it's not interfered with the project itself. So you can see the effect we've gone for. Remember, you will see this in natural daylight. It's just coming a little bit dark now, and I basically have to use a little spotlight in my shed and the flash on the mobile phone. So I do apologise for the quality, but we get the general idea of what we're going for. Now for this one, I'm just going to put linseed oil on to set us off with. We'll let it soak in, let it dry. I've used this wood before on a clock that I made, and it does darken up quite a bit. So hopefully this untouched area at the top will be a lot darker than the routed out area underneath. So as always for me, just boiled linseed oil. We're going to be ready for a new bottle soon. That's about to the end. It's just a case of throwing it on. We'll wipe it down with a cloth afterwards, and hopefully once it's dried, we'll see what we've ended with. So just a case of throwing it on like that. You can see how dark that's going already. I'm just trying to hold this piece up and brush it at the same time. So you can see from there how it soaks in. And you'll get the different grains coming through. I think I picked the wrong brush here, to be honest. But we'll continue. And then of course we'll do all the back as well. Give it a good soaking. We'll get some down the sides. See how that covers up. Like so. You get the general idea from there. And you can see how dark that's coming at the front. So hopefully those letters might just stand out a little bit better. Okay, I'll finish this off and then come back when we decide if we're just going to spray our clear and finish it, or we might even put some stain on these letters if they're not standing out as good as we want. Right, that's it. This little project is finished. You can still see from that, still got that sap coming out. Hopefully that will stop in time. And we have another little section up here. First time I've had that. But what can we do? Too late, it's done now. So there we have it. We had a little couple of sprays of our crystal clear, just get a little bit of protection. I like the graining wood on the back, the effect there we've got going down. I'll just show you a piece up here. Got a nice line running the full length of that. So that's a bit unusual. So no Riff Raff. Measured in at 4 inches by 44 inches. Little router project. By 1.5 inches thick. A little bit too thick, but we got away with it. Okay, thank you very much for watching.